Hi guys. It's been a while, as this feels kind of weird and kind of awkward, but I want to talk to you guys, so I'm just gonna power through it. I yeah, no, it's kind of weird, but well, this is August, and this is Serenity. Welcome, Serenity. I finally have her here all together. Doesn't she look amazing? Like, doesn't she look amazing? I'm so happy with Serenity. But yes, all those times I was talking about Serenity, the doll that wasn't here. This is Serenity. So yes, now I can do the story of these two. But that I actually want to save for another day. Today I'm here to once again talk about a doll that isn't here yet. I've had on layaway for a while because honestly my life has been kind of shitty and complicated this year, and that's also part of why I sort of stopped making videos. But I do enjoy them, and so I do want to try and get back to them, and so I'm just going to go through this awkward beginning part again and get back to making videos. So just bear with me through this crappy beginning part. But yeah, I've had on layaway for a while, which I will pay off soon. I've a layaway with Hello Hawk for some dolls. And those two characters are really important to me. And I've actually I've had a couple dreams about one of the characters, which is, I know it sounds kind of weird, but so yes, one of the characters is actually a male, so will be my second male character, like out of how many dolls. I've a lot more female than I do male, but anyway, the male, his name is Haku, I think. We'll find out. But in my head, it's Haku. And the story of these two is that it's him and his sister are the two dolls that are coming back. And he, Serenity is in love with him. And so yes, that's a bit complicated thing, but I'll start at the beginning. He and his sister grew up in a household that wasn't that great. There wasn't much love between their parents, and so both of them weren't really there that often. The dad was always working, and like both sides of the parents had affairs, and none of them were really there for the kids. It was all kind of for show. They wanted them to get good grades so that everything looked nice, and so there was a lot of pressure on the two of them growing up. His sister, she was always like, she was very smart, and so she did quite well, and so she was kind of able to, I guess, fly under the radar a little bit. But he wasn't as scholarly or educationally gifted as it was, so he was like middle of the road at school. He never did as well as his parents wanted to, and because he was the older brother, he got a lot of the pressure for it. He was the one that they expected to succeed, and so he took the brunt of their pressure. Because I'm pretty sure it was that their family, or their father, was the head of a car company, and so made cars and stuff, and owned a car company basically. And so yeah, it was his expectation that he would someday take that up. He and he was quite good at that side of things. Like, he was a very good mechanic. He was very good at cars. He could fix cars. That's what he could think of, and that's like how his brain worked. And so that he was quite good at. But because it was to do with his father's company, he didn't want to have anything to do with it, so he wouldn't do it. And so yeah, once he finished high school, he couldn't really, he had some trouble trying to find a job and stuff, and trying to like figure out what he was going to do next. And he ended up, and once he was old enough, he took his little sister and they moved out of their parents' house. They just, middle of the night, left. And his parents tried getting them back, but they kept moving, so then they couldn't find them. And then he had to find a job for this, and then he did start taking part in like petty crimes and whatnot. I think she found jobs, like part-time work while still going to school, of working at like convenience stores and stuff. And so, but yeah, he started like petty crime work, and his parents found out and became quite ashamed. And so they disowned him. And so then he just looked after himself as best he could. He ended up, and he left his little sister at his grandmother's house, and like they lived together and they were quite happy in their own little world. Their parents just kind of basically moved on with their lives, moved overseas, and just were focusing on their own things. And so he would do like petty crime work and stuff, and then send the money to his sister to look after her. He eventually got involved in gang works, because like that, it was kind of the next step, and in there he found a kind of community, like he found a group that cared about him, so he just kind of latched onto it a bit. At first they wanted him to do mechanic work, but he refused, and he wasn't really that good at like petty theft work, but they did let him take care of that. He did eventually become part of the drug syndicate. He helped with like trafficking drugs and whatnot, while sending money to his sister. He eventually got addicted to those drugs himself, and he ended up not sending as much money to his sister, not actually giving the drugs like to the people that he was supposed to, and he got in a lot of trouble with the gang that he was in, to the point where eventually one day he was taken out by him. They shot him in the head, and left him for dead. Because, yeah, he was an addict, and he had too much debt, and he was lying to them, and he was stealing from them, and that was unacceptable. So they surprised him, and they just executed him, basically, and left him on the side of the road. And then, not long after he had been killed, Brandy found him and fell madly in love with him. Like, saw his face. It's not really love, it's lust. Because she's not, both of these two just kind of raised themselves, so they're not the most like emotionally or just like mentally kind of stable, and they don't understand emotions that well. But so yeah, she found him, and she is a very skilled practitioner of the magical arts, and so she one of her skills is necromancy, or not so much necromancy, it's just manipulating souls. It's how she's able to live for centuries. And so yeah, she found him, and because he was not long dead, she was able to bring him back to life, to basically perform the ritual, and ended up swapping the death to the one that killed him. So the man that pulled the trigger all of a sudden fell down dead with a bullet wound on the side of his head, and Haku breathed life again. he still kind of has like the wound. I'm not sure where I want to put it, or if I want to make it actually like on his chest. I have to decide, but it's going to be like, yeah, one of those places. He's going to have an actual kind of heal. It's not going to be like still bloody, but there's definitely going to be some sort of like visible scarring. And so yeah, she brought him back to life, and because of that, he was kind of indebted to her. Like they're eternally bound together in this kind of weird connection. But I think he did get shot in the head because he lost a lot of his memories. He remembered his name, and he remembered that he does have someone he cares about, but he can't remember like who that person is. He has vague memories of things and vague like flashes of a face, but he really doesn't remember much. And so yeah, he kind of becomes her not servant, but not follower, but like he follows her and she's in love with him, and he can't say no. He can't resist her, even though he doesn't love her, but he feels compelled to like do what she tells him to. And so it's this weird toxic kind of love. But yeah, he follows her around for like months and months and months. And all while this is going on, his little sister doesn't know what to do, because all of a sudden her big brother, like, the rate at which he'd been making contact with her had been kind of slowly diminishing. And I think she eventually does like leave her grandma's house when she's old enough and goes and tries to look for him, but can't find him. And then I think eventually her grandmother gets sick, and so she goes back and looks after her. And then her grandmother eventually does pass away, and so she inherits her grandmother's house. And so yeah, she's living in this house trying to support herself, while also trying to find out what happened to her brother, like why. Because at first she thought, oh, this is just a bit longer than usual contact, but then it was like ages and she still hadn't heard anything. So she's been trying to find him, but hasn't been able to. And then I think what happens is one day she's just walking to go to the shops, and then or something, and then she just sees him walking by like with these lot and runs up to him and is like, what the hell? And then he feels some sort of connection, but he can't remember much. And so then I think, yeah, she just starts following them and like asking questions and wanting to know what the hell's going on. And at first, like, these lot just rebuff her because, I mean, she doesn't want to lose him. She also doesn't really like people and kind of has her own secrets, and so she just doesn't trust people in general. But that doesn't stop her. She just tags along. She just does not leave them. And so I do think eventually he kind of starts to remember a little bit and starts to feel the connection and wants to like stay. And so then Brandy like explains the situation of what happened and like what she is and whatnot. And at first his little sister is shocked, but then she kind of comes to not so much understand it but accept it, because like she's just happy to have her brother again. So she's just like, well, this is what it takes. And so then she does kind of become Thornity's apprentice, because not because she wants to, not because she likes Thronity or anything, not that because she likes magic, but because certain things need to be done to sustain her brother's life, and to keep him connected here, because his soul wants to go back to where it was. Like, it's not even that he wants to, it's just a kind of natural balance. It's like, it's the order of things, and so it just feels drawn to move on to the other world. And so it's this constant kind of process to tether it here. And so yeah, I think it's like I haven't decided on how often. It might be like a monthly, or it might be like every 3 months, or every, I don't know, full moon or something. There's like a set schedule of when I guess the magic needs to be topped up. It's like there's magic that keeps Threnody being alive for a century, and that is stuff that she has to take like every day. She's got a series of potions and stuff that she drinks. That's why her lips, it's actually stained, because that's from the magic that like she's drinking all the potions all the time, is that eventually these elixirs kind of stained her, like, and just kind of seep into her, and that's why her hair is turned purple and her eyes are purple. It's just kind of the magic that she has to consume all the time. And so, yeah, his little sister takes on this and learns what to do to like keep the upkeep of how to keep, and also within this deal become Thronity's apprentice. So that I guess this Thronity has a bit of a chip on her block of the kind of wider magical community not accepting her because she didn't have a formal training or even a proper teacher, and so I don't know, she just kind of did things in an unorthodox way, and so she's not really recognized fully, and so she's hoping by training someone to be that ends up being like the best sorcerer mage witch that ever was, like the most powerful, that then she herself will be recognized. So yeah, that's what she's trying to get out of it. And yeah, his little sister is just trying to keep a connection with him and do what she feels is necessary. And Haku is just trying to figure out what this new world is for him. So yeah, I think they go back to his sister's house that she's inherited, and that kind of becomes their base of operations. They're a very migratory group, so I do still think they leave, but this is a place that they often come back to stay. And yeah, I think that's all the story I have about Haku and his little sister that will be coming home hopefully soon. And then Miss Thronity will have her other, not boyfriend, but I don't know, her person of affection. And yeah, next time I will tell you the history of these two and how the long centuries expanding story of these guys and how they came to meet and how they came to travel and what they're looking for and everything. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed this and it wasn't too rambly, and I hope you didn't mind the squawking of my bird soda in the background. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.